Hello, everyone. So, normally we have the game of drones when it comes to the war in Ukraine. This week we had the game of phones. Allow me to explain. So, we had phone calls between Zelensky and Trump, Trump and Putin, and Germany's Scholz and Putin. And at this point, between all of those, I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. So, on one hand, we have um, Zelensky insisting that the war will end sooner with Trump. Okay, my question to you, Mr. Zelensky, is what makes you think so? And also, remember, you are the same guy who said that you don't want the war to just end. You want it to end advantageously for Ukraine, which means, allow me to remind you, those are your words, not mine. Withdrawal of Russian troops from all of Ukrainian territory, including Crimea, uh, a mandate for Ukraine to join NATO and possibly EU, and some type of pact involving Russia's basically not invading Ukraine again. So, if you're in a hurry to end this war next year and you want to do it with Trump's help, consider those conditions. And also consider that this is the same dude that blackmailed you, withheld assistance to Ukraine, who was already involved with Russia. Remember, the annexation of Crimea started in 2014, and then we had Russia's militants in the Donetsk-Luhansk region, and all of that. So Ukraine was already waging kind of a war light by the time Trump's first presidency rolled around. And Trump threatened to withhold aid from Ukraine unless Ukraine provides him dirt and Hunter Biden. I don't understand why anybody gives a shit anymore. Frankly, I don't. I care a lot less what's on Hunter Biden's laptop than the fact that Matt Gaetz, Trump's choice for Attorney General, slept with an underage girl. So, but that's just me. I'm old-fashioned like that. So, something to consider. Politico, really? Do better. So, this article is in Politico. And again, guys, hello, do your homework. Do your homework. You were the ones covering this war. You're a pretty good source, actually, Politico. So, consider what you're saying. And again, consider the summary of the data that we have on hand at this time. And everything we've heard that was said by both sides. Actually, not by both sides, by multiple sides. So, what was said by the EU, NATO, Trump, Zelensky, and Putin. How do you figure this? How do you figure that Trump will be good for Ukraine? It's possible that Trump has, I don't know, a smart day one day and lets Ukraine use long-range missiles, but I seriously doubt it. Again, just going based on the summary of all the things we know about everything he said. Now, what is this all about? So, this is, kind of another log on that fire. And why is Zelensky being so dramatic? Germany's Scholz's position, to me, has been kind of frustrating because, on one hand, he kept reiterating his support for Ukraine. On the other hand, he did participate in delaying aid to Ukraine and put additional condition on aid to Ukraine. So I don't quite understand where he's coming from. And I've expressed frustration many times since Germany, with its history, I'm talking about World War I and World War II, should know better than going along with the dictator. So, this call was a surprise to many because this is the first time Scholz talked to Putin in 2 years. Now, this is why I don't believe anybody, Trump, Zelensky, anybody, can't change Putin's mind. Because look what they said. They're saying the same thing they've been saying this entire time, going back to the annexation of Crimea. They want to keep the invaded territory. They don't want Ukraine joining NATO. Period. This is their peace condition. So, what was the point of making the call? And why are so many people, including Zelensky himself, the staff at Politico, and staff at other news sources, are supposing that Trump would be good for Ukraine? What is your basis for this supposition, considering that this is Russia's position right now? And as far as I know, we don't have any levers to change it because they don't give a shit. Another one bites the dust. So we had a couple of suspicious deaths earlier this year. Those were people actually from Putin's inner circle. This guy was not. But, what we know now is that if you're just an ordinary citizen and you criticize Putin, you get arrested, you go to jail. If you're not an ordinary citizen, but if you're a celebrity with some presence, with some reach, with an audience, you end up dead. So what's up with that? So this guy, he's not even a politician. He had a cooking show in Russia, and it was canceled after he publicly criticized Putin's war in Ukraine. So now here we go. He was found dead in his hotel room while on a visit to Belgrade in Serbia. Now they're saying there were no suspicious circumstances. Considering who this guy is, the whole thing is a suspicious circumstance. Okay? Putin's opponents don't just end up dead for no reason. Okay? There's always those weird, slippery windowsills and some type of food irregularities and cakes of uranium found somewhere nearby. So no, you can't say there are no suspicious circumstances considering who this man is, and that miraculously, after having had his show canceled, after criticizing Putin, was still alive. Well, he's not alive now. Yes, guys, war is bad for the climate. I agree with you. So maybe, we could, look at wars as something maybe we could prevent in the future. Here's what I mean. Yeah, and they consume funds that could have been better spent on green technologies and so on and so forth, on reforestation. Yeah, totally agree with you. Absolutely. But here's the thing. So the next time somebody walks in and hacks off a piece of someone else's territory, I'm implying Crimea, maybe do something right then so that they're not motivated to continue hacking off more territory off their neighbor, and so that this would not develop into a full-scale war. Maybe next time, do not assume, oh, he's a civilized man, he's a world leader, surely he wouldn't be so, outrageous as to start a full-scale invasion, because guess what? He will. So, let's stop playing games. We know war is bad. We all know it's bad. So start looking at your fucking history and your fucking data and acting accordingly. We have the UN for a reason. We have NATO for a reason. Both of them, the last time I checked, existed to check the aggression from enemy states. So where were you? Because this particular aggression by Russia against Ukraine could have been checked back in 2014, and it didn't happen.